Welcome to the Living to Thrive with Cancer podcast, a podcast about the big and little issues that come with living with cancer. I'm Catherine White, a stage 4 colon cancer thriver, passionate about supporting others who have faced a cancer diagnosis and are looking to feel empowered in taking back control of their health and happiness. My own walk with cancer helped me to learn more about myself and how to live with cancer, and it led me to become a holistic cancer coach so I can support others to move from survivor to thriving. So let's get started. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 4.5 of the Living to Thrive with Cancer podcast. I'm Catherine White, the host of this podcast, and I am here today with you to talk about an emotional experience that I had this past summer. It snuck up on me and I really wasn't sure what I was feeling, and I couldn't explain it properly to my husband as I was trying to relate this story to him. It was a really tricky moment for me emotionally because I had to sit with and talk through what I had experienced until I was able to identify it and finally name it. So I wanted to share this story with you and explain why this episode is called The Time I Felt Good Grief. Today, what I'm actually going to do is share my real journal entry from this experience, what I wrote after the fact when I was trying to sort through exactly what had happened. Now, if you are a new listener to the podcast, I want to welcome you. I am Catherine White, a stage 4 colon cancer thriver, using my stories and experience to guide you through your walk with cancer. As a holistic cancer coach, I want to help support you through creating a health-building lifestyle, managing your stress, and helping you to navigate the day in and day out stuff that comes up when you have cancer. If you find what you've learned here today to be helpful, please share it with other people you know who could benefit from this episode. Sharing helps me to support other people who are living with cancer and to help them move from survivor to thriver. And go ahead and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening, follow it on YouTube, and I would love for you to head over to the show notes and get your name on my weekly email list so that you can follow the path to thriving and how I am using what I've learned to support you in your walk with cancer and towards your goal of becoming a cancer thriver too. And when you sign up, you'll get a nice little free download gift from me. So to set the stage for you around this episode, I was traveling with my husband at the time. He is a pilot and he had a trip to Manchester, England. Now, I had just received the great news that my recent CT scan was clear, and so I am still no evidence of disease. And in that moment, when we had this opportunity, we decided we were going to celebrate it by me going on his trip with him. So in the middle of the night, after the experience that I'm going to share with you, I woke up and I just could not get this story out of my mind. So rather than flipping and flopping around and disturbing my husband and lying there thinking about the whole episode that I had experienced, I decided that I was going to get up, grab my journal, and literally I sat on the bathroom floor of our hotel room and wrote this journal entry. And this is what I wrote. I'm in Manchester, England, celebrating my clear CT scan. I am Ned, no evidence of disease. In the days leading up to getting the results, I could feel the pull of the past, the whispers of what if. I had to work hard to push them down, to keep fear at bay. And they were gone. With one thumbs up from my doctor, there was no longer a space for fear. Today, I experienced two separate moments that I need to unpack. When we were out, we discovered a library full of old books and texts. It was the inspiration for the Harry Potter library. The moment I walked in, my senses lit up. The smell of old books, the light coming in the windows, the old solid wood from the floor to the ceiling. Statues, tables, cabinets, row upon row of books that I wanted to run my fingers across as if they were flowers in a field. It was magnificent. So we walked around, talked about what we were seeing, watched other people and their expressions and experience. At one point, I was separate from John, alone in an alcove, when suddenly I was hit by a wave of emotions, grief and joy. Gratitude, I cannot name it. It just was. My eyes filled with tears. My heart was exploding with love. It was so complex, happy and sad. I had the same experience when we were having dinner. I was looking down at my chicken and mushroom pie, looking around at other people just living their lives, drinking, smoking, laughing, talking. I was watching John across the table digging into his beef pie, seeing him just living. And I was overcome by a wave of sadness while feeling so much love. My eyes filled up and started to well over. John noticed and wanted to know what was happening. I tried to explain to him, to tell him I wasn't sad, but then I realized I was. Then I was able to explain it. I was feeling profound grief over cancer, and that in a different version of my life, I would never be sitting in a pub in Manchester eating a pie with my husband. At the same time, I was feeling so much love and gratitude and joy, with a whisper reminding me of what I'd almost lost. But I didn't. And I was feeling grief. And joy was ebbing and flowing at the same time, coming together and then separating from each other. I cannot name it yet, but I can feel it. I can try to explain it, but no one will really understand, except maybe those who do. I am so grateful to be alive, to be here, to see things I never imagined I would see, that in a different version of my life I may never have seen. But that is not the version I'm living. That is the alternate version that exists in a reality that I did not live, that I rejected. I cannot truly explain this. It is a feeling that others would tell me to forget because the other version didn't happen. That I am here, so why dwell on what never was? I can't explain it. I can only feel it, explore it, see it for what it is, and allow it to flow rather than fight it. My reality is that I'm healthy, that I'm here, that I'm blessed, that I lived and am living. Today, sitting here on a hotel bathroom floor in the middle of the night, I choose love and gratitude while acknowledging the other pieces. I need to acknowledge them so that I can manage them. It's all a part of the story of me. In the morning, I explained this journal entry, this outpouring of my soul to my husband. What I could not name, he found words for. John called it good grief. He said that he can see when I'm slipping into a good grief moment, and that he has seen me have many of them without me even realizing it. He sees it in my eyes, and he can feel the shift in my energy. It doesn't last long, but he can see it even if others can't. And that is part of this interconnectedness that he and I have with our cancer story. He also explained that I have to feel grief in order to appreciate joy. It is the paradox of what could have been with us. Good grief, light and dark, yin and yang, two things that cannot exist without the other. This cancer thing is tricky, but it is also full of lessons. I'm grateful I wrote this out because even now, as I read it, months later, I can still feel the emotions that came up, but I can now understand that I had to feel this so that my gratitude and love for life could be elevated even more, taken to the next level. Perhaps my lesson will help you to understand what you're feeling, or will give you a way to work through your own version of good grief. Whatever you are feeling and experiencing, just allow it to flow. Allow yourself to feel the good and the bad, the happy and the sad, the grief and the joy. It is all part of living with cancer. I hope that you have found this helpful. I would love to hear from you if you have had an experience of good grief and of how you managed to work your way through it, how to navigate that moment. I also want to share with you that there are a lot of great things happening in my Thriver community in the weeks and months to come. I have created a new one-to-one coaching program called the Thrive Cancer Coaching Program. It is a 12-week program that also includes weekly private coaching calls with me. I'm taking my clients through a deep dive into nutrition and healthy eating to support your body. There's also content around mindset and your spirit. And as you do the program, we come together on calls to set goals to support you as you navigate your cancer story. I'm offering this at a discounted rate right now, as it is still in the creation process. You can save almost $1,000 by joining the program. All I ask is that you give me some feedback and reflections on your experience. This will allow me to better serve all of my clients. I have space for 4 new clients at this discounted price. And if you're interested, you can schedule a 30-minute call to ask me questions and to make sure that this is the right fit for you. This is open to people who are living with a cancer diagnosis, people who are post-treatment and are trying to reclaim their life and their health, and to caregivers who are looking for support for themselves and their loved ones. And if you'd like to learn more about my story, you can check out my newly published book, Living to Thrive, A Holistic Guide to Living with Cancer. It is available on Amazon. And I will link all of this in the show notes for you. Finally, I said there's a lot going on right now. I'm hosting a free online masterclass on Saturday, December the 7th, 2024 at 12 p.m. EST. It's called Support Yourself, 3 self-concepts every cancer survivor needs to know. And you can save your seat in the show notes. And friends, I just want to thank you for holding the space for me to share that very personal journal entry with you. It really was a topic that I felt was important to cover for us to discuss about these feelings that come up as you move through the cancer process, feelings that you may not always be able to identify, feelings that when you try to explain them to other people, they just don't understand. And as I say to my clients, they can't understand unless they understand. And to understand, you have to have lived the walk with cancer. Thanks for being here today. And please watch for the next episode that features a very special guest who shares her breast cancer story and what she is doing to help others in her post-cancer life. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And may you live your life to your fullest, follow your heart, and thrive in all you do.